thank you for joining us on another episode of the Moneyline podcast. We are, what month are we in? April. First week of April, and we got the Final Four coming up.
Yes, sir.
This weekend.
And
U of H.
Big time.
That's right.
I'm fairly confident in my picks this week, but we can get to that later on. But no, I think I'm going to try to make this one quick. We got Vince, Luann, Ray on here, and Ray's trying to convince me to wear a do-rag to bed because I always put hair product in my hair before I actually go to bed. I guess that's weird. I didn't know that was weird.
Yeah, I just want to.
I guess it's a thing.
Let's see what your pillow feels like.
I want to get you jazzed up with a wave check the next day. Wave check, David.
Can you imagine? I'm ready for it though. So, a couple of things I wanted to talk about today are things that I feel like in our industry, the legal industry, that we know, we think are fairly common. It's fairly common knowledge. However, it's not things that the general public know. And I know I hear Vince talk about this constantly with people, but the first one I want to talk about is insurance, more so insurance coverage. Vince, can you kind of tell people about liability coverage and how you've had so many conversations with clients about this stuff?
Yeah, I can give you an example. Just yesterday, we have a client that was unfortunately hit. They were trying to get out of the way from a speeding car. Actually, I think they were on a police chase, or there was a police chase going on. Innocent bystander. They're just trying to get out of the way. This car collides with their rear end. Car takes off, police go on, catch the guy, whatnot. But a lot of people don't know that, if somebody is in the commission of a crime, the insurance will not cover them. And so that puts the people that get hit at risk, obviously. And if you've only got liability coverage, which a lot of people do, then you're shit out of luck. And so the thing that I see most often is that people will have an older vehicle.
Right.
This truck is, 10, 15, 20 years old. It's paid off. I don't need full coverage. I just need liability. Well, I tell people insurance is actually you should consider it's for you, not the vehicle itself, the people inside the vehicle. Because, again, whether it's somebody committing a crime, somebody that's not insured, you get hit, you're injured, you need to be protecting yourself. And unless you carry that UMUIM, which uninsured motorist coverage, underinsured coverage, then you have no other recourse. Fortunately for people in this instance, maybe you're not stuck with all the bills if it's a crime, because Texas has what's called the Texas Crime Victims Compensation Fund available for those that have fallen victim to something like this. But in most instances, that's your last resort,
right?
And you're just trying to get your bills covered at that point, so you don't get taken to collections. So we try to urge everybody. Like, I understand that liability is the cheapest route to go when getting insurance for your vehicle.
Cheapest legal route.
Right.
Yeah.
With having insurance.
You're trying not to.
But think about who's going to be riding in that vehicle,
right?
And make sure you always cover yourself. At the very least, get that UMUIM and personal injury protection. Otherwise, you're relying on somebody else to be looking out for you.
Right. Well, you say personal injury protection. We call it PIP, but most people don't even know that exists.
No.
So kind of.
And so whenever you're buying insurance, the insurance agents will ask you, several other, coverages that you want. Hey, would you like med pay? Would you like personal injury protection, UMUIM? And they'll say that, hey, this will be an additional cost. And again, people want low-cost insurance, so a lot of times they'll decline or reject, and you have to reject that in order for the insurance not to cover you. But the personal injury protection is a no-fault policy, so it's a supplemental policy you pay $5 to $10 extra a month for, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000. Whether you're at fault or not, you have at least that much in that will cover for medical expenses, hospital bills, therapy, MD consult, or whatnot. But the UMUIM is vital to being able to protect you and your loved ones, whoever's going to be riding with you in that car.
I think
I think maybe, sorry to interrupt you. I think make sure you understand, you explain it to him that UMUIM, because that we speak in acronyms.
Yeah.
It's underinsured.
Yeah.
And
UIM. And I always had to tell myself, okay, underinsured motorist. So
correct.
that's UIM.
Right.
And the uninsured is UM.
Right.
They go hand in hand,
Like
you know,
someone,
but the insurance, they just gloss over it.
Right,
you
right.
know, at the very beginning, you're buying coverage, more money. No, never mind. Lowest cost. But that's when you're buying insurance is the most important time to be paying attention to the type of coverages that you have. And honestly, I don't know if the agents are actually explaining it.
I think that they are. Just
Thank you, Cassie.
People hear more money cost and they're like, whatever. Because the agent's making money off the higher your policy is. Yeah. So of course they're trying to sell you on it as well. But people don't know until they're involved. Yeah. And the other portion of it is, you know, every state has minimums, right? And so the state of Texas is a $30,000 policy, is the most that one person can receive in an accident.
For the minimum policy.
For the minimum, $60,000 for the whole car. So if there are 5 people in your car,
$60K.
or 5 people that you hit, you're splitting $60,000, and no one person can recover more than $30,000. And then on top of that, people get so frustrated that it's like, well, why is that all that they have? You know, why is that all that I can go? And it's like, well, do you have underinsured motorists? Well, why would I need that? It's their fault. Here we go again. How much coverage are you carrying on yours? And you only have the minimum. It's the same thing. You know, they get so angry at other people's coverages when they're not willing to protect themselves.
I think you're right. And I think the ironic part, too, that most people don't realize, and this is just kind of a little statistical factoid that I heard yesterday. We went to an open house and somebody, and I looked it up and it's actually correct. But Texas is the #1 state for car accidents, but they are one of the worst states.
The highest number of uninsured.
The highest number of people who are uninsured.
I think there's not enough.
We get a lot of flack in this industry because we exist, but our industry exists for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are minimal repercussions to those who do not carry insurance.
That's correct.
So you get a slap.
Oh,
a
absolutely
fine,
correct. Yeah, you get a fine at most, because I've seen uninsured drivers that don't get a ticket or cited for it.
And then, so there are certain states that do no pay, no play. So if you do not carry liability insurance, you cannot claim
on the other
person ever.
Florida.
So it forces people to, you know, even if it's not your fault, if you didn't carry liability insurance, you are not able to make a claim on the other person. I want a tiny bit.
Oh, right.
Tiny.
Here you go. Here. You can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take that tiny bit right there.
It's a tiny bit.
I'll take that tiny bit.
You're not feeling this?
No,
good stuff, huh?
It's probably like a 30.
It's Japanese.
Probably about a $3,000 bottle of whiskey.
I don't know how much.
No, it was only like $250 or something. But they said they don't get it often.
$250,000.
Yakuza?
$250,000.
Yamazaki.
The Yakuza is like the Japanese gang.
The Chinese.
So I think it's the misconception, and I'll give it to insurance companies because they've done a great job at manipulating how people think about things, and it's shocking to me how people think they have your back, how they think, oh well, I'm not worried about it. My insurance, I'll talk to my agent. They're going to cover me.
That's the biggest thing, though. People are always like, well, my agent said this. I'll call my agent after the accident. Like, well, they're completely separate. Your agent will not do anything for you if you're involved in an accident. It's going to be that adjuster that's assigned to the claim that's going to decide everything. And a lot of people just don't know the difference. They're listening to the agent. Once that agent sells you that policy, they're gone. Like, they can up your policy, they can make changes to it or whatnot. But
I think the agent could help explain to him. And I try to tell, so I can imagine if I was an agent, just like as an intake, what you should say. You're definitely trying to sell, as Luann said, you're trying to sell them what they need. This is a 13-year-old car. You should get blah, 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 blah to protect you and your assets.
Yeah.
But they're saying, now, I'm not telling you have to, but this is what you should do. And everybody's saying, well.
And you can have a minimum policy, bodily injury or your property claim. But for UMUIM, you can have a higher policy because you're putting more, more worth on yourself, bigger safety net in case it's necessary. And that's it's funny, just in case things happen. That's what insurance is, though, And the thing I've seen a lot of, and it's crazy, I don't know, it's coincidental, is that
AJ, can you try to get above the glasses sometimes? Thanks.
That people, when they have insurance, and I talk to them, and I'm like, hey, they've just either gotten rid of insurance completely or taken it off of full coverage and just went to liability because, again, trying to save money or whatnot. But the moment that happens, a day later, a week later, a month later, boom, accident occurs, not uninsured driver.
And it happens a lot.
I'm telling you, I guess it's coincidental or whatnot, but it's just a bad set of circumstances.
I think one of the other things, too, I wanted to press on is something that it really frustrates me because I think just our clients just don't realize this, but police reports are, how often do you guys think, if you had to put a percentage, that they were incorrect?
50%.
50%.
And incorrect can be like, there's just inaccuracies. Yeah. And it's hard to see one that's like absolutely
perfect. Right. I don't think I've ever seen one 100% perfect.
Obviously, I understand, these cops are how many accidents a day.
Yeah, they don't want to be doing this.
Like, they're out there. I get it. Okay. But that small, they should know that themselves, that every detail of this matters to how this is going to work out for these people in the end. This one report is what most insurances are going to rely on 100%.
Yeah.
And if there is any discrepancy or any type of
leeway where they can get out of it, they're
contributing
factors,
to somebody who's like completely not at fault.
Yeah, you weren't even there, but
you could have slowed down for that car that crossed your path when they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is why I urge people to have that dash cam because, at the end of the day, it might place you at fault, but on the time that you need it, it's indisputable.
Yeah, someone will say something at the scene. Once they talk to their insurance adjuster, they're like, oh, well, that's not exactly the way it happened. And then the waters are muddied, and good luck.
Right. And that's all they're looking for is muddy waters. That's what they want. They want that
reasonable
gray
doubt.
area to be able to say, sorry, we can't help you.
Or 50-50, percentage.
Well, that's like another thing that we've run into before where we've had a couple clients get into accidents with livestock. Okay? A cow wanders off its pasture into a small country road, and our client has hit it. Obviously, that, you can go see where that farm, that animal came from, whatnot. But if there's not insurance, you would think that your insurance should cover. Well, we had to have an argue and look through the language of that policy that was like, well, you didn't, this is uninsured motorist. What you collided with was not a motor vehicle.
Right.
It was an animal.
Therefore, no insurance.
Right.
So therefore, we're not covering.
Not covered.
So literally no insurance.
So I have to carry cow insurance.
Is that a thing?
Livestock
insurance.
In Texas, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that happen, especially if it's a black cow or horse.
I think we have 4.
I don't know. We got to bring race into it.
Oh my God! It's at night.
Black cow. Pretty. Black Beauty is one of my favorite books growing up.
When have you ever read a book?
I read some of the words.
You saw the movie.
Yeah,
I watched the movie.
I could never get past the first chapter, but I tried several times.
Vince, is there something else you can think of that?
Yeah, Vince.
As far as the narratives go,
He's the only one.
that's the other thing too. Is Vince, he's right across from me. Right. This way,
Ray.
The narratives, officer narratives. I think that's kind of important. I want to touch on because I feel like people just say, "Oh, well." That's what they said. Well, that's not admissible in court unless you get the officer to testify. And I think people don't realize that these insurance companies are looking way down the line, and they're preparing themselves because they look at these things and they're trying to do. And I try to tell this to people: insurance companies are trying to poke holes in your case. They don't need to show that you're at fault completely. They just need to minimize how much they're going to pay for, like, as much as possible. And it's funny because, like, whether it's a gap in treatment, whether it's whatever, we have a potential client right now who does not want to sign up because they want to wait for the police report to come out. And we're like, she said she's injured. She said she's waiting. And that's only giving the insurance company ammo. And it's unfortunate these people just they
put a lot of faith into
book.
other systems that are out of our control.
Correct.
I think that just goes back to David's original statement that the insurance companies have done a great job of teaching the public that, like a rock, I'm here for you, or we're family. It's not your family.
Yeah.
They're not really. They're a corporation designed to protect money. So
Yeah.
they're not your friend. I had to explain it to my father once that the insurance companies are not really.
No, I've been paying them for 30 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
they love that.
They love you.
Yeah, they love
And
you.
He's only been in one
Until you need
accident in 30 years. That's not really a thing.
Yeah. The biggest gripes, it's kind of like one after another, is just the fact that officers, a lot of times now, they won't even allow people to exchange information on the scene. So if you haven't done it already and they're at the scene, they'll say, wait for the report. It'll become available. So, for instance, that potential client that we have, they're waiting for it, got faith in the officers that something's going to come out. But all those days, are beneficial to the insurance company. So that's the first one, like not allowing it to exchange information at the scene or not providing it to both parties. Two is just the fact that they, I guess, just don't get things straight, but they don't talk to both parties all the time.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of cases where they'll talk to one person, and we've had clients say, hey, they never even talked to me. And then you get a statement or, the narrative, and it's completely lopsided.
And it's usually the most injured person that they don't talk to.
Well, a lot of times it's because they've gotten taken by ambulance to the hospital, so they don't get an opportunity to tell their side. And so it's just, that's a very hard part. And then we got to have them go and try to revise a report, which, man, that's
I've only ever seen one.
The chances of that happening are very slim to none, because we can't do it. The client has to do it, and obviously, if they're willing to do it, then they can. But it just takes time, and there's just a lot of moving
taking
parts.
time out of people's day that they're trying to just get on with their lives, and it's inconvenient. And
ultimately, they get so frustrated,
they give up,
and inconvenienced,
and the insurance wins yet again.
Lou, from an operational standpoint, what do you think that people should be aware of it, or that they don't know that frustrates you on your end?
I mean, I think it's collectively, just all of those things. We have a term that, in our office, it's not about the money until it's about the money. And people are like, I just want my life back, this and that, whatever. And then I guess for me, it's a lot of times, okay, well, this is kind of what it is. And these are the cards that are kind of dealt. And again, I've said this before, so many factors go into each case. And people just think everything is a slam dunk, and they don't understand that, the person that hit you might have just been involved in 4 other accidents that this insurance company has had to pay out. And so now yours is a fraction of what it could have been based on this person's, and then road conditions that day. And did you go treat? No, you waited, 10 days for the accident report to come out. And now they're using that against you because, of something you might have said in the beginning. No, I wasn't hurt. I'm fine. And you're not feeling those things until after the fact.
I think that's one of the things too, what you were talking about whenever you said it's not about the money, so it's about the money. We try to make sure that people are educated. One of the things that frustrates me on the back end for you that I see a lot is these cash advance companies.
Right.
We have a lot of clients who ask for cash advances. And we strongly discourage them because there's a lot of fees associated with it. There's a lot of interest. And more importantly, at the end, we hand them a check and they're like, where's the rest of it? Well, you had to pay back that company plus interest, plus fees.
You got it early
and they expect us to take a cut because they receive money in advance. And I see that it happens time and time again. And it's frustrating because,
yeah, I think that leading to that is that, people, I understand that it takes a huge toll on people's lives. You miss work, you've missed this and that. And some people are more equipped in their lives, have better support systems where those things don't hit them or affect them as greatly as they do other people. I completely understand that. However, we always say, like, you should never expect this case to make your life. It's not supposed to, retire you in any way.
Yeah.
We're hoping that you are able to get made whole again, get treated, feel like you got a fair handshake, and move on with your life. That's it. But, you know, the industry and certain bad apples in every industry and in ours kind of like put on this like, I can get you millions of dollars, and then people get this like stigma in their mind that I'm going to be a millionaire. And some people go out there looking for, you know, people break check, you know, looking for opportunities like this, you know, and I think that makes it really hard on people too, but they don't realize that, you know, it's not supposed to retire you. It's just supposed to make you whole again and move on with your life. And don't expect this to, I'm going to go buy a boat, you know.
Well, we've had people that have literally gotten in an accident, you know, and 2 days later, they're like, hey, man, my rent's due. I'm going to need some money.
What were you going to do 2 days ago?
Right. Before you had the accident, you didn't have no money then either way.
I'm shocked about the whole, I'm getting evicted. Your accident was last week.
How many months behind are you?
Yeah, they didn't just start evicting you just because you got in an accident. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Right. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, the mindset's a little crazy.
Ray,
sometimes.
From an intake perspective?
Well, a large part of my job is teaching each client where they are in the case and helping explain to them how the insurance will work. And it frustrates me after I've done, because I have to do a lot of talking up front, a lot of teaching, explaining who we are, what we're doing, how the insurance will work, and getting them ready for the process. It's frustrating that when it gets all the way through the process and gets all the way through the end, and the ladies our case managers come back and say, Ray, did you tell her this, blah, 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 blah? No, I would never tell them that.
Ray said I was going to get $50,000 in my pocket.
Never said
that. Liar.
I never said that. Ray told me I didn't have to work.
Oh, that didn't happen one time.
I've never said that.
I think I took that. I was like, I don't think Ray would have said that.
I've never said that.
I'll talk to him about it, though.
That's one of my pet peeves is every time I would never tell them that they're going to get a certain amount of money. I explain to them every time, I have no idea what the value in your case is. As a matter of fact, I have no idea what your injuries are at this point. You need to go and be seen by a doctor. You need to go and get checked and get all of your treatment. And this begins the part of your process to assess the value. But I have no idea. And I have no idea to tell them how long it's going to take. Ray said it's only going to take 3 weeks.
And more importantly, anybody that does tell you what the value of your case is doing you a disservice.
Yeah.
You know, like,
because nobody can know, especially within the first few days.
Know? Yeah. It's crazy how I get that call all the time. Oh, well, you told me I was going to get $100,000. I never in a million years would ever say that to anybody. ever. Right. And for good reason, you know, like Lou said, every single person's case is different. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, to piggyback on that, whenever I hear somebody say, oh, well, my friend got the exact same thing happened and he got $50,000.
That guy got hit by a millionaire who had a huge policy, and good for him.
You got hit by an uninsured driver.
An uninsured driver. And you only carry liability.
A dude working at Taco Bell who barely had it.
Yeah, they had Fred Lawyer insurance, minimum policy. You didn't have no uninsured or underinsured.
Right.
And I think I think it's perception. I think that's kind of what it is. You're right. The insurance company has groomed people to think a certain way. And it's sad, but I don't even know if there's a way to change it. I don't know if there's a way to be able to.
And I get giving them the benefit of the doubt. You always, you know, I think as humans in our mind are to like trust already, or those who have not been in situations where you learn not to trust things or people. And when they talk to the insurance agent the first time, they're like, yeah, I'm going to give him a chance. He sounds like a really nice dude. And, you know, he's been answering my calls this first day. And then all of a sudden, he didn't answer your call the next day. And then he didn't answer your call the following day. And then the police report comes out and it puts you at fault. And all of a sudden now something's wrong. And now you call us and you know what? There's not much we can do to help you. 2 or 3 weeks later,
you're like, man, a lot of stuff is already going wrong.
And for all 2 people out there who are watching,
both of you,
I encourage you guys to, because we're talking about insurance now, send us, any one of us, what your coverage looks like, and we will tell you whether or not we believe you are over or underinsured or properly insured. I encourage people to do that because it's surprising how many times most people are underinsured. Most people are severely underinsured. There are a few people out there who are overinsured, and you have a vehicle that's valued at $10,000 and you have $50,000 in property damage coverage for UIM, and there's no reason for that. So I encourage you to send us your policies or your declarations just so we can take a look at it and tell you whether or not you are properly insured, and then go from there. And kind of, I mean, and I want to make sure I say this too. We know a lot of insurance agents who are stand-up people. They're friends. They appreciate what we do. But go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say that they, all great people, but they just don't have any control or any say over
Correct.
Who's at fault, who's liability, no decision making when it comes to an accident.
Correct. And I think that's where the confusion lies, is that they think that the agent is handling their
claim.
And that's just not what happens. But other than that, I think I just wanted to kind of brush on this stuff because this week we've seen people who have asked these questions, and I'm going to talk about something else briefly. And I understand it, but I'm not married, so that may be why. But we get a lot of calls from people who they always say they have to talk to their significant other. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think if you need to talk to your significant other, you should, but you should do it immediately. Like, you should. The worst thing that can happen is you allow time to pass. And because of that, we've seen a lot of cases fall off the vine because too much time has passed and they talk to their significant other. And we even had a case recently where a significant other, where we were terminated, our relationship with our services were terminated because he said, you don't need to hire an attorney.
You don't need to get treatment for your injuries.
And your children. The children don't need to get care. You nor your children need to get care.
Here's my thing. Unless they're in this industry, unless they're an attorney or in the medical provider field or whatnot,
he was a doctor maybe.
How do you allow their thought process to make your decision? Like, you're hurt, you need the treatment and care, you know your body. And the biggest part is that, we work under a contingency fee. So we're not charging anything up front. It's our job to...
We take the risk and
take the risk, manage the claim, facilitate the process, make sure the insurance company simply does what they're supposed to do, cover your medicals, and put you in a place as if the accident didn't happen. And money out of your pocket. Why wouldn't you want somebody in your corner to combat the insurance company?
I don't think there's an explanation for that. I don't have.
There's not. I mean, you're right. I don't know.
Well, that's why I didn't want to. I didn't know. I mean, it happens all the time.
It does.
All the time. It happens all the time. And I would have to say it's a coin flip on whether they actually decide to sign, right?
Well, this client actually signed.
Oh, she did?
She did sign.
Oh, good.
Good. We lost it afterward.
They hadn't been to treatment. It was a quick thing. We're going to try to get them set up.
That's right.
Hold on.
The medical provider called her, and she hung up in the medical provider's face.
Change of heart.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Well, such is life.
Yep.
So, no, I did want to bring that up just because it's something that I've noticed. And these are just things during the week I tend to observe, and I'm like, oh, we should probably talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
but moving on to funner things, I want to talk about the Final Four.
All right.
We have all 4 number 1 seeds, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Florida, Auburn, Duke, and Houston.
Do either of y'all have all those teams?
No, I only have Houston and Auburn.
I have Duke and Houston.
I have all 4.
Wow.
No, you don't.
I do.
You picked all 4 to go to the Final Four.
I didn't pick it.
Right?
It got picked.
Oh, your cousin. Yep. Wow.
Ray wins the bracket if Auburn wins. Simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
If
sure.
they don't,
who wins?
Melanie?
If it's Houston,
Oh.
if it's Houston, Yvette wins.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
If Duke wins, Melanie wins.
Melanie's going to win.
That's my projection because of the points right now.
Melanie, okay, what are y'all's thoughts?
Houston.
Oh, man. I really want Houston.
Final Four's in San Antonio.
Okay, but who do you think? So you think Houston, but then who are they going to play?
Auburn.
Okay.
Oh. So Duke loses.
Duke loses.
I need Duke to lose. If Duke loses,
I have Houston, Auburn in the championship.
I don't think Houston.
Again, I'm really
I don't think
hoping Houston wins. I think, they got a strong team. It's just so hard. Like, Duke looks so tough. And maybe it's more so the name that scares me.
Now, let me tell you something. I watched them play a few games. I'm telling you, it's one guy that makes them look
Cooper
tough.
Flagg?
That one guy.
That one?
Whenever he sits down, they look very human.
Yeah.
They make all kind of mistakes and errors. If you can run at him, make him play defense, tire him out, and everybody else looks very pedestrian. I'm telling you.
That's the thing Houston's got going for them. They got a great defense.
But Auburn, they got some talent over there. They got shooters and big men.
Who is it? Auburn and who?
It's
Auburn and Florida.
Oh,
They're going to beat Florida.
Florida's tough, man.
They're gonna
Florida's
beat Florida.
tough. Auburn's the underdog, right?
No, they're about on
I
set.
think, well, I'm looking at the bracket. I think they said 10% of people got Auburn winning.
Yeah.
And more so got Florida, Duke more than
Auburn
Houston.
got talent. I think Auburn's going to beat Florida. My fear is that they're going to have struggle with Cooper Flagg. I think once
Auburn and if Auburn plays Duke,
I have Auburn playing Duke in the championship. But
Come on, Cougs.
I need the Cougars to beat them because I think that Auburn will beat the Cougars. But,
Wow.
Interesting.
Vinny?
We all the way. Man, I think Duke's a little too tough, man. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be Duke and Florida. That's what my bracket says, and I think Duke is going to take it.
I think the same thing. I thought I saw Duke play. They haven't. I don't think any game has been close. Has there been a game that's been close so far in the tournament?
Maybe in the first
And
quarter of the first
And
half.
the first three games.
I think they end up stretching them in the third
Yeah.
quarter, right? So it gets
It's just
up to
too much.
10. It's just too much, right? But in the first half, like again, people stay pretty close. The last game they played, they stayed pretty close.
And in the
Stretched them in the third.
I think they had the first three games for Houston were close. Mm-hmm. The last one they worked them.
Well, the first one it was a blowout.
Was it?
Of course.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
I was like,
I think they were up by
40 points.
40 point.
Yeah.
It wasn't even but it was who were they playing like?
That's what they're supposed to do. Though.
Saint
That's what the
Isley.
number
out
one.
of-
Saint
Yeah.
Isley.
Saint Isley.
And then Auburn and Florida, I just think Florida's that dark horse number one. I think they're predicted to come in fourth out of all of the four teams, and I think that's the reason why they're going to win, or they're going to go to the championship at least. I have no rhyme or reason for it. I think Florida, and then I think Duke's going to win it.
It don't mean nothing.
Ew,
Our words
boring.
don't mean nothing, Ray. You know that.
No, I'm
Dave-
Coug
Dave
all the
would
way.
So you think that U of H is going to play Auburn?
I think U of H will play Auburn. That's who I have in the bracket, and I think U of H will come out on top.
You have
We're-
all four teams?
No, I have Auburn and Houston going to the championship, though. I had chosen Alabama and St. John's. Those two got knocked out.
They better go after Cooper. He's a problem.
Take him out in the knees.
Give him
or
some
the
pork
ankles
chops.
or whatever.
Yeah, well,
Sweep the leg.
I just noticed that he never has to expend any energy on defense against a big man. So if you pick and roll him, make him fight with somebody, so he's burning up his energy as much as because once he's on offense, he's going to destroy you. He's going to score. So your hope is that you're taking energy away from on the offensive
And the
side.
Cougs
so-
got size.
Do they?
got
Do they have
size.
big men?
Yeah.
And they have endurance.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw.
They got a bunch of young talent.
They said every guy on Houston, on the Cougs, they can run a mile under 6 minutes, and the average was like 5.5 minutes.
These boys are fast and strong.
Yeah.
Wow.
With that endurance, man, a mile.
I'm going to
under
look
6
real
minutes for
quick. I'm
6
very
foot.
curious to see what the
I want
line
you
is
to-
like.
How fast can you run a mile, Ray?
Fast? How slow can you run a mile?
I think the question is, can I run a mile without stopping? You mean without stopping? Is that the logic? Is that the question?
You know, rest stops.
I can. What is it? Jog. What's shorter than a jog?
Trot.
I could probably trot a mile.
Oh, so it looks like Duke is favored by 5, and Florida is favored by 2.5.
Telling you.
Wow.
We'll see. I like being the underdog.
Auburn is a number 4 team.
Oh, so they got the first game then, right?
Yep. And you think Auburn's going to win it?
I think I was going to be.
So I don't know if you saw this before, but Auburn stomped on Florida in some kind of game during the season. So
I'm surprised they're the underdog.
So Auburn lost in the SEC or whatever conference like early on, and people were like, should they even have a number 1 seed? And I think they were the preseason number 1, 2-ish, something like that. So yeah, they just figured it out.
I watched them play, and there's I forget his name, but he's the center or power forward. he has very nice Tim Duncan style footwork. And he's very nice down there in the post. And they have
Nice
shooters.
down there.
I read an article.
nice.
He came from a small school because of the transfer portal.
Oh,
now
yeah.
people, it's like a free agency now every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sidebar too. I did want to say this right before we got off, but want to congratulate the Houston Rockets. They made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years.
Wow.
They're number 2.
Currently
in
the number
West.
2 seed.
They're ahead of
Yeah.
the Lakers.
And I saw them play on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. They just destroyed the Utah Jazz. Like it was, and I think they are a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I love how young they are.
They are the way the Texans were when C.J. Stroud was a rookie.
Who do the Jazz have now? They got rid of all the
They
talent.
got a bunch of giants.
But they have no talent.
No, they have Colin Sexton, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Because he got kicked in the groin.
They gave their number 1 De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio.
That's
Sacramento.
Well, yeah. So I think the Jazz are last in the
Yeah.
West.
They did what they were supposed to do. Blow them.
Yeah,
blow
they
'em
did.
out.
They beat them by like 39. I think is what it was.
The Rockets are very good.
They're
enjoy
good. That
watching
kid Amin Thompson.
Oh, beast.
Yeah.
They got a lot of them.
So it's good. They have too much talent. Like I was watching this thing that said that the kid, our number 3 pick, Riley Shepard or what's his name?
Something Shepard.
Whatever. Reed Shepard. Yeah. He gets like 9 minutes a game right now because there's so much talent on the floor that he can't even get in.
But the thing I like is that we will probably keep them all together because they've opted to not get that superstar yet.
Yeah.
And so they got plenty of money to disperse between all these
Yeah.
young guys.
Yeah.
And so young team, well, I don't even know what their salary is or whatever their cap, but
Rookie.
should be able to keep them around for a while.
I would like to see the Rockets win to see Drew Holiday's twin brother win. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Your twin brother also won a title.
Yeah.
crazy.
It's amazing.
So who knows who they're going to play in the first round? It's still working, but we'll see.
I'm scared of them all. I just don't want it to be the Warriors. They got their number.
Oh,
Or Lakers.
And the Warriors are hot right now.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
just beat up on the Lakers last night.
Some people said
They
they
went to
wanted.
double overtime last night.
Yeah.
Oh, who won it?
I don't know.
GSW.
Oh, did they?
Wow.
It was a shootout.
Fucking
They were shooting.
Steph Curry,
I
man.
watched back-to-back shots. They just come down the court shooting like it was an all-star game from like half court. They step across the half court line and they're shooting.
Yeah.
And AR-15 hit one. Then LeBron hit one. Then Curry hit. Then they were just exchanging this. Like no one's playing any.
Just after LeBron was on the ground crying for like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, my
bro.
God, I hate this. Like, it's not soccer, bro. And then he gets up and then starts playing again. I'm like,
Between him and
That's
Luka,
right.
I don't
That's
know
right.
who's
Jordan,
worse.
Jordan never flopped. I know.
he didn't miss a game.
He never flopped.
No,
Even his sick game.
never.
He missed whole seasons with an injury.
With a baseball playing injury.
No. He hurt his knee. You just don't remember it. You don't remember it because you don't count his first
Vince
7
was
years.
4.
He doesn't count his first. You don't count
Before
his
the
first 7
90s.
years, right?
Yeah.
You don't count. You don't count where he entered the league. as
Well,
part of his
it
career.
sounds like it's about it.
Well, guys, thank you for another one. I appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Until next time, guys.